Problems at Playa Conchal. The #1 beach in the world has 3 problems to consider. None of these are really game changers or deal breakers if you're prepared for them and you're ready for them, but they are things to think about, things that really bother some people, things that you may want to consider as you plan your trip to Playa Conchal. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jason. On our first trip to Costa Rica, we didn't know about any of these problems at Playa Conchal, so we were surprised by some of them. We also had a tough time finding any YouTube videos that would really help us think through the details of planning a trip to Costa Rica. So after our first trip, we decided to combine some of the cinematic footage that we had filmed on our trip, along with all of the research that we had put into planning a trip to Costa Rica, to really create some of the videos that we wish that we would have had in thinking through planning a trip to Costa Rica. So before you pack your bags for Playa Conchal, here are 3 problems to be aware of. And at the end of this video, I'll give you some advice on how to avoid or minimize each one of these problems. Let's get started. The first problem at Playa Conchal is the horse poop. There are a number of private companies that offer horseback riding on the beach at Playa Conchal, which is really an amazing opportunity. We took a sunset horseback ride on Playa Conchal. We loved it. It was an amazing experience. We would totally do it again. Riding a horse on the beach is awesome. Stepping in what the horses leave behind is not awesome. A number of the companies that offer these private horseback riding opportunities don't have bags on the horses. And so what that means is that as the horses do their thing, as they walk along the beach, it just stays there in the sand on the beach. Now, high tide will wash those things back out into the ocean. Nature has a way of taking care of itself, but it is a reality that there are places to avoid stepping on the beach at times. We honestly didn't find this to be a huge problem while we were there. In fact, we didn't even really think much about it, even though there were a number of people online that are really upset about this. The second problem with Playa Conchal is the bugs. This is not a problem that is exclusive to Playa Conchal. The reality is that Costa Rica is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet, and so along with that biodiversity, you're going to have bugs. We saw a lot of termites, a lot of bees, a lot of wasps, a lot of flies, ants, mosquitoes. The termites aren't a huge problem, but they are a reality. You're gonna see a lot of termites. You're gonna see termite nests. And sometimes they're just flying around, they're in your face, they're in your drink, and you gotta go get another one. It is just a reality of being in the jungle, is you're gonna have a lot of bugs there. We walked down Playa Conchal and we were going to do the hike in the jungle there. We practically got carried away by mosquitoes, and we ultimately decided to hit the eject button on the plan to hike through the jungle.
Access denied.
And go back out on the beach and avoid the jungle altogether. If we were going to do that again, we'd probably bring some mosquito repellent with us. That's our bad, but it's something to be aware of. The mosquitoes in the jungle are legit. The third problem at Playa Conchal is the dogs. There are just a lot of stray dogs, just wild dogs that live out and about, either in the jungle or that belong to local people that just kind of run around free on the beach at times. Some of them are friendly and adorable, and it's just a cute and wonderful thing, and some of them are less friendly. You can actually see this in some of the footage from our most recent trip. I actually started filming because all of these dogs ran up and they were just sweet and adorable, and then as we're walking along and they're following us on the beach first thing in the morning, suddenly they were not sweet and not adorable. They were nipping at our heels. So let's just think about how to avoid or minimize each one of these problems. When it comes to the poop, as I said, we didn't really consider this to be a huge problem. We didn't really even notice it very much when we were there. But one thing we did notice is as you go further south, there's less horse poop on the beach. As you go further away from Brasilito, the horses are coming in from Brasilito on the crossover there. But also you can just watch out for where you're stepping. It's not like an infestation or a horrible problem with poop all over the place. It's just something to be aware of. When it comes to the bugs, there's a couple of things you can do to minimize this problem. The first is just to bring bug spray with you. That's what everybody does. You bring bug spray. You're going into the jungle. You need to be ready to deal with the jungle. The second is to avoid the jungle. If you stay on the main paths in the Weston or the W, if you're out on the beach, the bugs are not going to be as big of a problem. As soon as you step off the beaten path and into the jungle, where you're actually like going through jungle trails, that's when the mosquitoes are gonna get really serious. And then really the biggest thing to be aware of as it relates to the bugs is just not to leave your hotel room door open at night with the lights on. Finally, as it relates to the dogs, honestly, you can just be friendly, but be ready. It's good to just encourage the dogs to move on, whether that's kind of waving a stick at them or whatever it takes to kind of get the dogs to move on. Dogs that may appear to be cute, adorable, and friendly at first might not ultimately be man's best friend. Like with anything else, when you know what to plan for in advance, none of these things are really huge problems. We don't personally consider any of these to be deal breakers. Playa Conchal is still our #1 most favorite place in the world. These are just the 3 challenges to be aware of and to be prepared for. In fact, for the other half of the picture and to get a positive perspective and see some of the best parts of Playa Conchal, you can check out our video here, a quick guide to Playa Conchal, or a fast intro to Playa Conchal. It'll give you a really good look at some of the wonderful things to think about as it relates to Playa Conchal. Have a great trip.
It's